Do you still love numbers?
Yes, definitely. In the interest only has gotten more, and yeah, though I didn't plan for it, I ended up enjoying it. I quit my job with the zero clients on hand. It was a real bold move. Within a couple of months, I was able to land on my first client, and within about 6 months, I was able to replace my corporate salary.
Your journey has been so, so different and so refreshing to see, right?
Definitely. So I always focused on the present.
What's the legacy that you're leaving behind? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with CA with me, your host, Geena Bharwani. Today on this episode, we are deep diving into the journey of the tech visionary, CA Jayanthi Ganapathy. So let's get started as we understand how she went from being a regular chartered accountant to being someone who is committed to making accounting easier for small and mid-sized firms. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to this episode. And we're really happy to have you over here. And first things first, you're a Chennai Punner, so welcome back to your city.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah. So, my first question is, being a Chennai Punner, how did you, end up doing CA? Was it always something that you're looking forward to?
No, it was not. It was not planned at all. So basically, it started from my schooling, where I think in my sixth grade, I realized that I had the interest towards numbers.
Okay.
So numbers is where it all started. So I always scored almost 100%, or most of the time 100% in math in my school. So I felt like the numbers spoke to me since my sixth grade. So I think that's where I'm in sixth to 10th, and then when you have to choose group in 11th
Correct.
standard. So I definitely know I didn't like science or physics, or then after that there was no other option left. So it
Okay.
has to be accounting. So that's how I got into accounting. So 11th and 12th, when you complete, then when you look at our options for going for undergraduation, then there's only few options anyway. Starting getting into BCom, and then so I was going to get into undergrad BCom, applying for colleges and everything. But I think at that time, while in Chennai, there was a information session about chartered accountancy.
Okay.
At that time, it was foundation, so I casually attended with my friends. There was
Without having any intention.
no, there was no. It was just at that time you go to several universities, explore, and it was one of those options. So that's how I went there. I didn't even I went there I didn't even had any plan that I was going to pursue CA.
Correct.
But then after going there, seeing the crowd, everything they spoke, and one of my friend from school also was there. We didn't even know we both were going to come there. So he said his plan is to pursue CA. Then I said, okay, let me also start chartered accountancy. That's how it started.
That's amazing. So, you started off as being a numbers person, right?
Yes.
So, till date, if I would say, do you still love numbers?
Yes, definitely. In the interest only has gotten more, and yeah, though I didn't plan for it, I ended up enjoying, and now like working with my clients, talking to them about the finances, and help them interpret the numbers. I thoroughly enjoy. Now, yeah, it was always there. I think the interest was always there, and then the chartered accountancy path really took me through my passion. Definitely.
That's nice. So, you started off as after you completed your CA, did you join a company? As far as I recollect, you joined Philips on the get-go of it, right?
Yes. Going into corporate was also not something that was planned.
Okay.
So I did my articles from a small firm. The audits and the exposure that I got was okay. So I didn't had any plans to get into Big Four or practice. That was not an interest. Maybe because the exposure was with a small firm, it was very less. So then at that time, as soon as I finished my CA, I wanted to land in a job which pays well.
Okay.
So that was my only objective. So there was no opportunity to try out a practice, or there is no time or patience to start something from scratch and
Correct.
establish your practice and everything. So that's how I got into. I started looking for jobs, and then one of my I also did ICWA and company secretaryship. So one of my company secretaryship friend referred me to one of his other friend who was working for Philips Electronics in Chennai at that time. So he asked me to go for this interview, and then that's how I got into Philips, and then I worked there for almost 11 years, starting from Chennai, and worked there for 3 years. When I started in Philips Chennai, I didn't knew that department they were hiring for North America's offshoring department. So from there is where the international exposure also started.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the corporate journey started from there.
So you did CA, and then you did ICWA,
At that
and
time,
CS.
ICWA, it's CMA now.
CMA, and
Yeah.
then you did CS,
Yes.
right?
So it was all done.
You've done all the 3 Cs.
All paralleling. I also did all of them paralleling. And
Oh, okay.
the other thing was, no one in my family knew that I was doing all the 3 courses at the same time.
Oh.
So it was just, I always wanted to do more.
Okay.
One was always not enough for me, because I have to be always extraordinary in doing something. So I parallelly did all the 3 foundations together, all the 3 intermediate together, final, everything like together. So some I passed out early, some little late, but
at the end of it, you've just completed all 3.
Yes, all 3. Yeah.
That's nice. So as someone who is viewing this video, and if they're looking to do all 3, would you suggest them to do it, and how would you ask them to go about with it?
Depends on where I landed. Now, not all 3. Definitely, I would say CMA, CW at that time, CMA helped with my practice. It depends on where you go. So if you go into a track of audit and going for Big 4, then you might not appreciate CMA or CS. But I went into I have my own accounting firm in Boston, and I work with small businesses. So we provide CFO services as well. So I really appreciated. So I see a lot of other colleagues who are only technically sound in accounting, but not the CFO, analytical side of things, financial analysis, budgeting, and everything. That's where I felt I had that strength, because I did, though in CA you also have a costing part of it, but then you go very in depth in CMA. So that really helped me in my career. CS not so much, only because I didn't practice in India. So I immediately moved to US. So it was more about SEC compliance and here in India. So it didn't help me. But I would say studying about the corporate law, I still say when I introduce myself to someone in US, I studied corporate law in India. So their law is considered really recognized really well. So they think like I have a law background. So yeah, that's the only difference it made. Other than that, but CMA and CA really helped me.
That's amazing. So you finished with your, stint at Philips, and then you started your own business.
Yep.
So what was going through in your mind at that point of time? Like, walk me through that.
Sure. It was, again, everything in my life, it was not really planned. One thing I want to say throughout my career, I focused on what is in front of me. 100% dedication to what I was doing. That led me to the next thing in my life. So starting from school, seeing the interest for numbers, and I got into accounting, and then I did all the 3, and then from there, the Philips entry-level job. At that time, at the interview itself, I impressed the interview is one thing. They also have a written test, and they said I was the first person to score the highest percentage in the written test for accounting. So there was immediate recognition for my talent everywhere. The talent was recognized, which took me to the next level. So that's how the journey started. And from there, even from the Philips Chennai operations, where we pretty much did North America offshoring accounting work. So within 1 month of me joining the corporate job in Chennai, they placed me in the first US project.
Oh,
Seeing
okay.
my, at that time I had no work experience. It was only my education, how I performed well in that interview, that got me that next opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's just doing your best in what you are at that time. That's what takes you to the next level. That's one thing happened throughout my, from my student education all the way to my corporate career, even to now in my entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, did you always want to start your entrepreneurship journey?
No, that's again, maybe it was there in me, but working for Philips Electronics, I started in Chennai, and then there was an opportunity in
Correct.
Australia. Then again, as I was talking about, people see your work, and then when there is a need, they pull you from there. So that's
Yeah.
how the Australia opportunity appeared. And then from there, within 2 years, there was another opportunity in Philips North America when they were doing two major acquisitions. They wanted someone with experience and knowledge, and then they took me there. So yeah, I think from Australia to US, then when I was in US, we did the post-merger integration, and then that was a huge project. And after that, there was one after the other, like finance transformation, implementation of systems. So I was one after the other into large projects. So I was only technically growing in the corporate ladder. So at one point, so Philips grew, seeing me go from one position to another, they wanted me to grow as a technical accountant, corporate
Okay.
accountant, and but my interest was always not just technical accounting, but because I did my CMA and
Yeah.
CS, I wanted all of my education to be applied in my career. So it wasn't enough for me
Okay.
at that time. I felt like I want to be involved more on the business side of things. Though I was a assistant business controller, so I had exposure
Yeah.
to business. I was heading the taxation team, transfer pricing for all 60 countries. So tax, accounting, business also I had exposure, but at one point they wanted me to move away from the business controllership to more of a technical accounting
Technicality.
lead.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's when I felt, no, God, this is not the career I want to pursue.
Yeah.
So they were giving me like a promotion and a good jump in the salary and everything, but I said, no, this is not what I want to pursue.
Yeah.
And then I decided to quit my job, and then my managers were all surprised too. Why is this girl leaving when we were offering her a promotion and all of these incentives? They didn't know what I had in my mind. So then I decided I'm quitting my job, and somewhere in me I had that I want to start something of my own.
Yeah.
Even like before I made the decision to quit, 2 years even before that, I think I had that idea back in my mind that I want to start something on my own.
Like the idea was brewing.
Yes, yes, yes. So when this happened, when they wanted me more into the technical side, I said, okay, this is the time now. I'm not going to continue in this ladder anymore. I quit my job with the zero clients on hand. It was really a bold move, and I left my job, and within a couple of months, I was able to land on my first client, and within about 6 months, I was able to replace my corporate salary. So
6 months.
yeah,
Okay,
so
that's great.
it was a good start, but the challenges came only after.
Yeah. So I'd like, when you say 6 months, it's like you worked 11 years, so you have
Yes.
reached a point in your
Yes.
corporate salary, and
Yeah.
within 6 months you matched it.
Yes, yes.
Kudos to you for that, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's
It was really, I would say, especially in US and Boston, people help each other. Like one thing, even now I appreciate business owners. They try to help others. The second client I landed really was the one helped make that jump, and this person he has about 60 different companies all over the world, and he saw that I left my 11 years of corporate job and I'm starting my own. He saw that entrepreneurship in me and he wanted to give me the opportunity.
Yeah.
So he was the one, he was starting a business in US and he wanted me to take care of the entire operations for US. So that really helped me.
That's a great boost,
Yes,
especially when you
definitely.
start something on your own.
Yes.
So that's a lovely journey that you've had, ma'am. I would like to ask you something like, what kept you going? Because I've read in most of your interviews that you're given that your mom has played a significant role in, like, making you go to the best of whatever you
Definitely.
give, right?
Definitely.
So, like, guide me through that.
Yeah, definitely. My mother, she plays a major role not only in my life. We are four of us, four siblings.
Okay.
So my dad, we are from a lower middle class family growing up. We had a lot of financial challenges, and my father had a career, but he was not making very very well. But he was also not supporting the family that much. So it was my mother who took a major role in bringing all of us up, and she wanted to go study when she was young. She always had a passion for education, but her parents did not let her study beyond her fourth grade or something. So she always wanted my kids, no matter what. I don't want them to stop their education. No matter what obstacles in our life, I will overcome that, and I will make sure my kids go their education, whatever they want to study. So even with so much financial challenges at home, she made sure whether she will get. Yeah, of course, we got some help from her parents and everything. At every step of my education, there was financial challenges, but my mother was the one. Not only for me, for all four of us, she made sure.
She was like the pillar.
Yes, definitely. So through our up to our 12th grade, she helped us a lot. And after that, it was then after we finished our 12th, we started doing like part-time jobs and everything to fund our higher education. Pretty much all of my, when I did three professional courses simultaneously, I got a lot of help from other non-profit organizations and everything. But it was what I like about my mother is that courage and that she, no matter what financial scarcity we have, she wanted to make sure my kids doesn't go through the same life that I had. She wanted to ensure that we all have a bright future. That was definitely the foundation for where I am today, and all four of us are today. Definitely.
That's a really amazing. That's a very powerful woman out there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And actually, that I applied that to my business right now. So in business, there's a lot of scarcity that comes up. Could be finances, could be resources in terms of employees that you have to hire. So no matter what challenges throws at you in your entrepreneurship journey, you have to keep going, right? You have to win. You have that drive.
That's drive.
Make sure, yes, exactly. So that I got only from my mother. So no matter what, as long as you have the drive, you can make it happen. So nice. I always think of my mother when I'm faced with challenges at work or my entrepreneurship journey. So
that's so sweet.
Yeah, she made a great impact.
That's nice. So you went from being in the corporate world to starting off your entrepreneurship journey with your own firm where you would provide services.
Yeah.
And then now you're running 3 of your own firms
yes.
simultaneously.
Yes.
So how did that happen? Like, what got you into like robotics? What got you into automation separately? Because one firm is automation, one firm is robotics.
Yes, correct. You're right.
So tell me all about that.
So I started off with accounting because coming from corporate, I didn't get into taxes right away, but started with what I know best, which was more financial accounting. So when I started my practice, so 6 to, I would say, up to 2 years, I was able to sustain by just networking with others and bringing on clients.
Yeah.
But beyond, so when you reach about 250,000 in revenue, that's when you go exhaust your resources. That's the time you want to hire other employees to work for you to grow and scale. So from that happened, I would say around my 3rd year of starting my practice. From year 3 to about year 7, beyond me, beyond the network that I was connected to, how to grow and scale your business. That's when I started exploring digital marketing, and then making sure instead of hiring employees, how can I take advantage of softwares that are available so I
Yeah.
don't have to hire human labor to go overcome the challenges to serve the client. So I started exploring a lot of softwares to help me run my practice from marketing to sales to onboarding the client. So at one point I was using about 10 to 15 different softwares.
Oh, okay.
So over that period of 4 years, so to efficiently run your operations, to go work remotely, to
Yeah.
be paperless. So going through that journey for about 4 years and exploring all the different softwares, that's when I had this idea of when I said at one point I had 10 to 15 different softwares and I was paying huge amount of subscription on
Correct,
annual
yeah.
basis. That's when the thought of why don't we develop our own software which brings in all the features that are in this 10 different softwares. All these softwares were like very generic for any small business owners. So I wanted to develop something that is catering to the accounting firm only. So I brought the best features that I was using the other software and brought it under one umbrella. So that's when the idea of the software came. So
It came up.
though it is a software, but it is only for the accounting industry, that too only for accounting firm owners to use.
Oh, okay.
From starting from their email integration to marketing, managing the leads, conversion of leads to sales, onboarding clients, all of that under one platform.
Oh, that's
It took
nice.
us about 2 years to develop from idea to having a complete
Yeah.
product, and now it's a full blown. We released to market and we are using it internally. So that was a software.
It's just for accounting firms alone.
Yes, it's only for accounting. Currently, we use it heavily for our clients and our
Yeah.
firm, and then while I was going through, there were ideas: should I just keep it as an in-house software, or should I release this as a separate software to be
Correct.
used by other accounting firms?
Yeah.
So at that time, the mentorship and coaching, the advice I got was to go run it as a separate company. And so you can not only use for your firm,
You can
but
sell
you
it
can
to other
also
firms.
So that's how the product out of it came. So that's the software, and then the robotic process automation. This I would attribute to the corporate Philips Electronics where I worked. There it was always about efficiency. How
Yeah.
can we be more efficient, save time? So I had this constant thinking of how can we do a process better, efficient ways of doing it. And I was going through I was part of like several finance transformation projects. So automation, efficiency, it was always part of my day-to-day thinking. So that's when even before all of this AI started becoming popular, I even started this way before that. And
Yeah.
at that time itself, I said we have to develop our own RPA process, which is wherever we have repetitive processes, wherever there are rule-based tasks, we need to automate it. So
Correct. So you got into machine learning also.
Yes, so we started this 2021. So it took us about 3 months to document all of our processes and then develop the in-house bots, digital bots. That's how the RPA started, and then it's been 3 years. We are pretty much 80% of our bookkeeping type of task is done by digital bots currently.
Oh,
so we
okay.
started with about 20-30% efficiency, and now as of last month, it's about 84% of the bookkeeping task is done by digital bots. And so then again, same story as the software. Then we formed a separate company. Which is Boston Robotics,
Correct.
which is focusing on RPA so pretty much does 80-85% of any bookkeeper type of task. And that's how Boston Robotics came into picture. So now we have 3 separate because the client, the software and the RPA, both the customer base is
very different.
Yeah, definitely. Now we have to go to the next level, upgrades, and then the 2.0 we are working on.
Oh,
so
okay, that's nice.
with AI, we want to develop our software to an extent that for the next 5 years, whatever the features that we can foresee, we want to build it in the software. So we don't have to go for another upgrade for the next 5 years. So we are looking futuristic and see how much we can empower the software.
That's amazing. So you went from being a regular chartered accountant student to working in the corporate and then starting your own firm practice to now building your own software for your firm first and then starting to sell it out, and then now getting into AI automation and also robotics and machine learning. Your journey has been so so different and so refreshing to see, right? How do you feel when you take a step back and just look at your journey? Had you known from day one that you would reach there?
No, definitely. So I always focused on the present and thinking back and reflecting. I never, until maybe recently, I never had like a goal or a vision. This is where I have to go to. But I focus really on the present and mostly doing the best at what I'm doing now. Not only best, always more than how can I do more than what I'm doing right now. That pretty much brings in the next opportunities, and after a few years when you look back, it's a huge journey. But I never, until you mentioned, I never thought about it this way. I started as a chartered accountant. I could have gone into traditional practice, but then I got into corporate, and then my business. I started my firm, and then into all of this happened when I realized the need at the moment, and then I always wanted to be the
act
best
on it.
and act on it. Yes, so that's how the next things happened. So
that's amazing. Thank you so much for this. So, ma'am, I had one question while I was researching about you. You've mentioned that when you were doing your entrepreneurship, starting off with your entrepreneurship journey, at that point of time, you didn't have any mentors or advisors. Right? So how did you tackle that situation?
So when I started, I really didn't know all of the challenges of starting a business. So I thought, I know accounting, I have the corporate experience, and I can just make myself available and do some accounting work for small businesses, and it should be easy. That's what I thought. But then I jumped into it without knowing what is involved in acquiring a client. Right? I thought it's just the knowledge that I have and the experience I have that is enough. So pretty much I dove into it myself, and luckily with the help of other entrepreneurs, I was able to land a couple of clients pretty quickly. But then after that, the real challenge started. As an accountant, I didn't know how to market myself. So I think marketing and sales is a challenge for any entrepreneur, but I feel it's even more for accountants because we don't tend to talk about ourselves that much. So it was a huge challenge to understand marketing and understand how we want to productize our services, how to price it. There were several challenges from not only marketing and selling ourselves. How am I better from another accountant down the street? I had to acquire all the skills while I was doing it and go with it. So it was a huge challenge.
So you're doing like a mini MBA when you start your entrepreneurship journey.
Yes, I learned it on the job, but it took me longer time, I would say, to go put there and learning along the way, understanding how to connect with people and how to get referrals from other people and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely, it was a huge learning.
That's nice. So my last question would be, what's the legacy that you're leaving behind?
So definitely the company that we started and building, firm name is Finaccurate. So I want currently the firm that we are building is more futuristic, like forward-looking, where we are now compared to other accounting firms, even in Boston. We are, I would say, in terms of processes and everything, we are in the top 20%.
Correct.
So I want our company and the firm to be the forefront of technology, adopting the technology, and providing the top-notch services, advisory, and not just following the traditional compliance services. So being in the forefront of accounting industry. So I want that legacy to be carried throughout, even after whether or not I'm with the company. So that's one thing from the services, but then the employees that the talent that we bring in. So yeah, and I definitely love the way Zoho hires and retains talent. So we want to be an example for other industries in terms of hiring and retaining talent as well.
That's amazing. So that's really nice. So thank you so much for this. I've had a wonderful time talking to you. And thank you so much for your patience also answering all my questions.
Sure.
So we are on to our next segment. In this particular segment over here, we have the chartered accountant that would have left a question.
Sure.
And not knowing who is going to come in next. So it's a very generic question.
Okay.
Probably read out what the question is, and I'd love for you to answer it.
Sure.
So the last time we had CA Pooja Bhartia. So she's left a question. As a chartered accountant, how would you define mental health for our CA students and overcome it as well?
Wow, okay. And it's for students, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even CAs in general, you can probably
CAs
answer.
in general, okay. Students, I think I would answer more from the student perspective, because CA, when I was studying too, there was a lot more subjects you have to study and clear. So there's about 20 parts or 20 topics you have to give exams, compared to other professional education. Say I can compare to the US CPA, right? There's only 4 parts that you have to study and pass to be considered as a certified accountant to practice in US. Versus I feel like it's a lot. It's been 20 years, so I don't know how things has evolved, but I still know it's definitely a lot. And even if you do it or pass it all first time, it at least takes 4 years to clear CA in India versus if I compare to CPA, it's only 4 papers, and then if you do it all and clear in first time, you can finish it in 1 year, and then you have a career that you can go after. I felt like it was like too much to prove yourself to be practicing as a CA. So I think something needs to be done about that, and definitely it takes a lot of toll on the students going through it and trying to prove themselves to start their own practice. So if someone listening to this and take this and recommend to the ICA Institute and do something about the curriculum too, I think that will help a lot with
the mental health as well. That's really nice. Thank you so much for answering that, and I'll request you to drop in your question as well.
Sure.
We'll reveal it in the next episode.
Really like to know their thoughts on this.
Thank you. I will surely let you know about it as soon as I get the answer. Thank you so much for this. And we're on to our last and final segment of the show, which is basically a fun segment.
Okay.
And I always believe, like any person, whether a chartered accountant, not a chartered accountant, they have a fun aspect to their life.
Sure.
I'm going to use my phone for this, so pardon me for that. So this segment is called Beyond the Balance Sheets, where I'm going to ask you some fun questions and get to know the quirky side of you.
Sure.
Yeah. So my first question would be, so if Boston Robotics had personalities, what type of robot would be your favorite to work with and why?
So we already actually named the bot as Sally.
Okay.
So Sally is not SALLY, it's SALY. In accountant terms, I think people know it's same as last year. That's a common terminology that's used. So that's how we named the bot. So it's saying that if it's same as last year, it has to be handled by a bot. So if saying that if something is repetitive and it's monotonous, and if it can be rule based, humans shouldn't be doing it. So that's how we go.
That's a very
with the
interesting
logo,
thought.
and then Sally has a LinkedIn page too.
Oh, okay.
So we already have a persona for it and named it Sally, meaning same as last year.
That's nice. So, if you could automate one mundane task in your personal life, what would it be?
Okay. I think it's already there, like commuting to office, the Tesla car, right? Not commuting, like coming back. Most of the time, I'm working very late.
Okay.
So I would like, which is already there. It's not going to be new, but the people are still scared to use the driverless.
Self-drive, yeah.
Self-drive, driverless car,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So yeah, I would like to go make use of that. So most of the time when I work very late and come back home, I always have that fear. What if I driving back home if I sleep in the car? So yeah, I would like to go take advantage of that and be confident that the car is going to take me home safe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
nice. So, what's one wild prediction you have for the future of accounting automation that might surprise everyone?
Yes. So as far as the AI and the vision that that we have, so when you take accountants, even now, there is so much of compliance work that we have to handle,
Correct.
especially since I practice in US. For coming tax season, I think it's the same for any accountant too. From the December, starting December all the way up to April, we are working at least 80 to 100 hours
A week.
Yeah. There is so much work still being handled by accountants, which are very routine and compliance oriented and monotonous. Though there's all this technology coming in, and we are introducing automations, AI, machine learning, we are still not there to reduce the number of hours even to a normal 40 hours per week. So our goal is to accountants, even during a tax season, to have a very normal 40, just the 40-hour work.
A minimum
week.
of
Yes.
40.
Having that 40-hour
Or a maximum
working,
of 40
yes,
hour
even
work.
during the busy tax season. So
Yeah.
that's the goal we are working towards.
My last funny question would be, if you could clone yourself digitally to manage different projects, how many versions of CA Jayanthi Ganapathy would you need, and what would each one specialize in?
Oh my God. I've already 3-4 versions already, and my family is already saying this is too much and I have to slow down. I cannot imagine. Definitely at least 3 different versions of me, because I'm focusing on my accounting firm, and I have the software and the RPA. I want to take all 3 to the next level. So there's only so much time in the day. So I would love if I can 3x my capacity. I can take all the 3 to the next level.
That's nice. So I really hope you find a doppelganger someday so that you
Sure.
could invent more and more.
Yes.
And thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
As a small token of appreciation, this is for
Thank you.
you,
Thank you.
and for answering all my questions patiently. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful having you on
Thanks
the
for
show.
having me.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, thank you.